Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's Andy Flynn from the Office of Alumni Engagement at Mines. Welcome back to Lunch Bunch. After taking a break for this summer, we're excited to be launching back and doing another semester of exciting sessions that celebrate the people and programs that make Mines great. So, this is your first Lunch Bunch. Thanks for logging on and welcome. If you're returning Lunch Buncher, thank you for your continued support. So here we go. Fall sports, football season nearly upon us. And our first game is scheduled for Thursday, September 4th versus West Texas A&M down in Canyon, Texas. And our first home game, football home game, will be Saturday, September 13th at Marv K Stadium versus Washburn at 12 noon. So hang on to your hats or helmets, whatever the case may be, and grab your Mines gear, round up your crew, and get ready to make some noise. We invite you to join us for tailgate season, home or away. We have all of our tailgating activities listed on the alumni website, so look for that schedule. And we're just looking forward to making this a season to remember. It's always great to get started, and I think there's a lot of optimism around what's going on with our program. To kick things off, we're thrilled to welcome back returning football coach Bob Stitt to this month's Lunch Bunch. Coach Stitt's first tenure laid the foundation for the continued success of Mines football, and now he's back to lead us into a new era. Coach Stitt will share his journey, his strategy for building winning teams, and what fans can look forward to this season. Before we start, a few quick reminders. If you have questions, please feel free to use the chat or chime in and ask us as we go along. All of our Lunch Bunch programs are recorded and can be accessed on the Lunch Bunch page of our alumni website at weare.mines.edu. So if you missed one, want to listen again, or would like to share the program with a friend, visit this page to access the complete archive of recordings going back to 2020, when Lunch Bunch transitioned to a virtual format. As always, if you have ideas for future speakers and topics we want to know about them, please contact me, Ruth, or anyone in the alumni office with your suggestions, and we'll do our best to make that happen. So, let's get this thing started. Please help me welcome Coach Stitt to Lunch Bunch. Take it away, Bob.
Thanks, Andy. Hello, everybody. It's awesome to be back, and it's crazy that it's roughly 25 years since I walked on campus the first time, and we had quite a job ahead of us when we got here in 2000, and we were, just to give you the background of me. Not everybody may know a whole lot about me, but I was at the time. I was 35 years old. I was offensive coordinator at Harvard, and I got a hold of Marv and talked to him about possibly coming back, and ended up getting the job. And it was one of those things that just we just needed to roll up our sleeves, start working, and just change the mindset. And I remember one of the people at our first quarterback club meeting coming up and saying, "Coach, it's great to have you. Yeah, you just need to know that you're never going to win here, but you can, if you could just put a team out there that doesn't embarrass the school anymore, that would be great." And I'm like, okay, we're going to work on that. And 5 years later, we were undefeated and top 5 in the country. And so we were really proud with that, and just kept moving on. And the school was continually supporting us. And then we started talking about the stadium, which we desperately needed. And the fundraising started, the planning started, and it was so exciting to think about the football building that we were going to construct, and the nice stadium, and all those things. And I remember my wife and my oldest son, Joe, was they were here, and we were taking pictures, and we had the hard hats on, the silver shovels, and we put our feet on the shovels, and they were taking a picture. And my wife leaned over and says, "You're never going to probably move into this." And I was somewhat taken back, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Because we had put so much work into it. And come to find out later, I mean, every day I would drive in here before I went to Volk Gym and go up on the road and look down at the stadium every single day for a couple of years. And we were so close to getting this thing open. And I was going on. We had just finished a great season. We had went 10-1 in 2014. The only team we lost to was the national champion. So we really had a great squad, and we're returning Justin Dvorak, which is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. And Justin was just a sophomore, so we had just some great players coming back, and felt like we could really start making a run at the national level. And I was at DIA in security, and I get a call from the AD from University of Montana. And I didn't think much would happen with it. People had called me before, and we had talked, and before you know it, they put an offer out there, and we were moving to Missoula, Montana. And I thought I was going to retire here. I love this place, love the kids. My kids grew up on this campus basically, and in the Golden area, and we couldn't believe we were leaving, but it was kind of an opportunity that you just can't pass up. And so now we're in Division I football, making a little bit of money, and so everybody that is in college football long enough, especially when you move up to Division I, there's a really good chance you're going to get fired. And so we had a pretty good team, and we were in the top 25, 27 weeks. We lost to Montana State, and they fired us after our third game. And so we were out of work. Mike Gundy called me from Oklahoma State, asked me to come be an offensive analyst at Oklahoma State, and I thought that would be great. And to be at the Power Five level, that the in being the Big 12, I thought that would be great, and learn a lot from him. So we moved to Stillwater, and we were there. I bought a house in June. I got there in February. We bought a house in June, and I ended up getting a job offer uh, from Central Michigan and from Texas State. And two offensive coordinator jobs. I had two different head coaches on the phone uh, offer me jobs. I wanted to go back to Texas. We really liked Texas, so we decided to go to Texas State so I could be the offensive coordinator there. That was a great opportunity for me to be at the FBS level. Coach Gundy tried to talk me out of leaving twice, which I probably should have never left Oklahoma State. And because the offensive coordinator left just a few weeks later, he wouldn't tell me that he was leaving, but he ended up going to Ohio State to coach quarterbacks. And like I said, should have stayed, but I left. And we coached one season there. We were there 12 months. The head coach fired 7 of us. And so we were unemployed again. And so then Kevin Sutherland called me from Arizona, offered me a job to go there. And my youngest son, Sam, uh, we were going to go to Tucson. My youngest son, Sam, came to me and said, "Dad, I don't want to go." And he was about to be in his 4th school in 5 years. And so I said, "What do you want to do?" And he's like, "I want to go back to Arvada and graduate with my friends at Arvada West." So I just cold turkey quit coaching and didn't know what I was going to do, but we were going to move back here. And then one of my best friends hired me to go into sales. So we got Sam back into Arvada West. My oldest son, Joe, was a student at Mines, so he ended up moving home. It was during COVID, so we had the whole family together again, which was awesome. There's not too many positive things about COVID, but the fact that we could get the family back together was really something that you really couldn't put a price tag on to have us together again. So I came back, did the sales thing for 3 years, and I really wanted to get back into coaching, but every time somebody would call, my wife didn't want to go, and she wasn't going to go. If I wanted to go coach, I was going to have to do it on my own, get a 1-bedroom apartment. At my age, I didn't want to do it, and because her mother is not doing great, she couldn't leave the area because of her mom. And then my son ended up going to University of Colorado in Boulder, which is 20 minutes up the road from our house. So it was tough. And so, but I still wanted to coach. And then right before Christmas, I got a call from Valor Christian High School, and they were asking me, trying to get me to come be the offensive coordinator. Wasn't really sure I wanted to go into high school football. It was Brett McGatlin, which is George Pohl's nephew, and I'd known Brett for a long time, and he had coached at Chatfield for a long time in Columbine, and I kind of blew it off a little bit because I didn't want to do a stipend job where they pay you $2,500 and you put 1,000 hours a week into it. And so they called me again later and said, "No, we're going to give you full benefits. You don't have to teach." And my wife really needed two new knees, and my health insurance at the time was very expensive, and I could lose a limb and not go to the doctor. It was so expensive because it didn't cover anything. So when they talked health insurance and put me on the full benefits and not having to teach, get a full salary, I said yes immediately. And so we got my wife fixed up. She's brand new. And she's a half inch taller now that she's gotten both knees done. And so the Valor thing was really good. It taught me it showed me that I needed to be back into coaching. I didn't really know if I wanted to coach at that level, and coaching's not about the level. I got into coaching to help kids, so it didn't matter what level we were on, FBS or high school. I just needed to coach, and so we loved the season, loved the kids. We went 11-2, and then it looked like that our staff wasn't going to survive. They didn't think 11-2 and losing in the semifinals to Cherry Creek, the state champion, was good enough, and it looked like we weren't going to be able to come back. So I was like telling my wife, I cannot believe this, that we win 11 games and I'm unemployed again. So for the first time in my life, I was at peace, and there was something weird came over me. It's like, I'm done. I'm never going to coach again. I'm just going to live, going to be a dad, a husband, and just roll into retirement. And I don't know how many days it was, maybe 10 days after that, I get a text from one of my ex-players that had said Pete Sturbick was going to Montana State. And I showed the phone to my wife, and she's like, "Are you going to call David?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll call him in the morning." It was kind of late. And so I called him the next morning, and uh, I said, "David, it's Stitty." I go, "I'd really like to come back." And he's like, "I'm glad you called." And so we got that thing rolling again, and I immediately got in my car and timed from my garage to Marv K Stadium how long it was going to take me to drive, because I was going 40 minutes down to Highlands Ranch for that high school job, and that was wearing me out a little bit, but it was 9 minutes. So I was really fired up about it, and um, I couldn't believe there was a chance for me to be back, you know, coaching minds, but also in this building. We had spent so much time raising money and designing this thing. I went to so many different Division I programs and would ask them, "What do you like? What would you change if you could do it all over again?" Because I wanted to build the perfect building for us. And our idea was, let's build a football building that actually is connected to the stadium. Because the stadium you use 5 or 6 times a year. The football building, we're in this every single day, all day long. The kids are working out. They're in the training room, the locker room. They've got a spot to hang out together. Our culture gets stronger because the kids in between classes can come down and hang out. They actually study in the locker room. I just bought them 4 new monitors, double screen monitors, so they can bring their laptop in, plug in, and sit down. We have a little academic area in our locker room. And we got the nutrition area in the locker room through our quarterback club. We can fund that where the kids can come in and get a snack and relax or do rehab or study, whatever it is. So it was awesome. But to get back to it, it's like I couldn't believe that I was coming back, and it was the perfect time. My mindset was, I I don't want to leave again. I want to stay in the Golden area. This is my favorite place I've ever lived, and mine's is the happiest time I've ever had in my career. I want to get back to that and just help kids. And I wanted to coach mine's kids. Our kids are awesome, and sometimes you take them for granted. I may have the first time, and then you go to these other schools, and you think back on how great those kids are after you're working with some of these other kids, that how much trouble they get into and don't care about anybody but the next paycheck and all that kind of stuff. So it's a blessing to be here, be the head coach, working with this great staff. I didn't hire anybody new. I told David I would take the staff on, and I can work with anybody. I didn't feel like the staff needed to lose their jobs. They had just coached in two of the last three national championships. They shouldn't lose their job, you know. So we kept everybody on. We ended up losing the receiver coach to University of San Diego with Brandon Moore, uh, but we got somebody hired, and he's doing a great job so far. And so I can't tell everybody how exciting it is to be back. I think I think I'm a little better coach now. I'm a little bit more relaxed. I don't have two little kids now that you're trying to feed, and you can't lose your job because you got to keep your family going. And now I'm at peace. I'm just doing it for the right reasons. Want to coach kids. Want to help this staff. Develop and win games. Having fun winning games, and it's gotten me reconnected to a lot of the alums that when I was bouncing around all those schools, you're just so busy you don't see any of your old friends. And now I'm back to be able to run into all the great alums, ex-players, but also the older alums that had played before me. And I can't say enough about it. Everything's going great. Um, we have a very, very good football team. We have a lot of talent. We just needed to tighten the screws a little bit. And I told them that they need a little old man, influence to the program, and that's what I'm bringing. A little old school, just working hard and enjoying being around each other, and taking pride in playing really good football is what this team needed. It had the talent, didn't really have the mindset. It probably hurt us a little bit last year because when you have so much success like our team did, you know, playing in the semis, then the national championship and another national championship, sometimes the kids in their mind think that it's going to happen forever. It's just going to happen because we're mines. And then last year we had lost all those great leaders that were with us for 6 years, the John Matokas of the world, and that offensive line, the defensive line had 33 seniors. You lose those guys, then all of a sudden the next team's kind of looking around going, who's going to talk? Who's going to lead? Is John Matoka going to open the door and run into the locker room with a cape on and save us again? And nobody really knew what to do. And because that team had kind of run itself through the seniors. And so 8-3 is pretty darn good for some places, but not mine's now, and you got to make the playoffs. You're supposed to win the conference championship, and they didn't. And it was pretty darn disappointing. So our upperclassmen, who I've talked to every one of them now, uh, this is what they want. They want to get back to working hard, becoming minds again, and earning it, and just taking it day by day rather than having a goal of, well, we got to win the national championship. Well, we need a goal of getting better every day. We need a goal of winning the first game, winning the first quarter, getting a first down, getting a stop, the first drive of the West Texas game. You got to break it down and then build it up. So I've met with almost all of our kids. I've met with, I think, 82 kids. Every conversation has been at least an hour. Some of them been 2 hours. And we just sit in, we get to know each other. I wasn't worried about anything other than preparing these kids to be really good 5 months later. And I don't have a 5-year plan that most head coaches have. A 5-year plan doesn't help my seniors or my juniors or my sophomores. We need to be good now, and we need to become 2025, not the team that they think is going to be great because of 2022 and 2023. So we've really got back to the roots of where we started back in 2000 to get this thing to be a pretty good team. And we've got more talent. We're more developed because we've got a strength training staff where we had to do it all back then. We got a great weight room. We got great trainers, equipment room, all the support staff. David has done such a fantastic job of building a program where we have help. And that's the result is we got a really good football team, and we can compete with anybody now. So I've been enjoying working with these kids through the spring. Had a great summer. We had 70 kids stay around, and we're working in the area that we're lifting and working out with us. So they developed, and I feel really good about it going in, but we still have a lot of work to do to be prepared for the season. But we're going to be okay. So I wanted to open it up. If anybody had has questions, just click off your mute and ask me, or you can do it through the chat, and I can just start talking about anything you guys are interested in about what's going on with the program, the players, me, whatever it is. Anybody
Hey,
got a
Coach.
question? Yes.
Yeah. Just quick. How do you think you've improved as a coach since the last time you were here?
Uh, Hi, Brad, by the way. Just I have a lot more patience, and the thing that people sometimes forget about when they're coaching, you come in and you've got fundraising, you've got recruiting, you've got media, all these things. But when it comes down to it, who needs to get it done? The players. So who do we need to get motivated? The players. It's very difficult to lead people that you don't have a relationship with. And so that was my number one goal. I told David that I was going to get to know these kids. And there's not a head coach in the country that meets with over 100 kids, and that's where I'll be by the time we play that first game. With each kid spends over an hour with their head coach, just getting to know each other. I'm asking them 100 questions and basically finding out about what they like, what they don't like, what their parents are like, just things in their life that I need to know. They need to be able to trust me. I need to be able to trust them, and it's just really come together. So the the relationships, understanding uh, that that is what's going to make us great. We're having fun. The kids are working their tail off. Football's not easy. It is really, really hard. And for anybody that's played it knows what I'm talking about, but it also has to be fun. And if those kids are just getting screamed at every second of the day, that's not much fun. So we want to hold them accountable. We're giving them a very structured plan to get where we need to get by September 4th, but it has to be very disciplined, and we got to hold them accountable. And these kids are all about it. A lot of young folks, they don't think that they need discipline in their life and accountability in their life, but once they have it, they thrive, and then they realize how important it is, and then it carries over into life down the line. Uh, so Brad, just that question, I'm just more relaxed, more focused on what matters. What matters with this football program, and what matters is the kids. They're the ones that are going to do it. And then all the other things, when you win, all the other things take care of themselves. When I went to Montana, we drove almost 4,000 miles around Montana. I did 32 appearances, and we were all over the place. And I was in Palm Springs meeting with this group, and I was doing all these different things, and I never was with my team, ever. And because they were pulling us in a million different directions. And so now I'm focused on our guys. And we have great team meetings every night. We're focusing on leadership. We have a players only meeting after every practice. I pick out a couple seniors and they talk. Some guys go through their career and they've never addressed their football team. Only the captains will address the team. All of our guys have done it. All of our juniors have done it. And we're going to start getting the younger guys to do it. So I don't want a couple captains to be the leaders on the team. I want everyone to take ownership in this football team and speak up when something's on their mind. And and we've come a long way, and these kids are having fun. There is a lot of ownership by everybody so far. So that's a long answer, Brad.
Here's
So,
a follow-up question. How the hell do you get a 19-year-old to talk to you?
ask them a lot of questions, and I tell those kids when I get done, and I've, I was doing a lot of interviewing. That's what when I got out of football, that's what I was doing. I was working for University of Kansas, Oklahoma State, SMU. I did a deal for Jacksonville Jaguars for the draft. I interviewed Aiden Hutchinson. I've interviewed Brock Purdy. A lot of really good players, and that's what I did. So I bring them in and I take them through that interview. And when you ask them questions, I'm not talking much. I'll respond and ask them a different question, but I get them to tell me things that their parents don't know. I get them to tell me things I don't know about my own kids because my kids won't tell me. So it's really a positive and powerful thing. And a lot of kids, I had one kid that got up and we were in here for 2 hours and he shakes my hand. He's like, Coach, I feel like we're best friends now. And I was just like, that you can't get that. Coaches don't get that. At my age, having a 19-year-old kid say that, but they're getting comfortable with me, and I don't want to be that head coach that a lot of guys are that walk out there and you're like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, and they kind of walk on eggshells around you, and I don't want that. I want those guys to feel comfortable with me, and I'm going to hold them accountable. I'll coach them hard, but they feel like they can come talk to me too, and it's not going to be a big deal. What else?
Oh,
Hey, this is Stu, Bob.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to watch the spring scrimmage, the spring workout, and it looked like you had a lot of depth, even though so many kids had graduated. Do you have any comments on that?
You feel like you have depth, and I don't know how we're going to stack up. I haven't been in the RMAC. I haven't been in Division II for 10 years. I have a darn good feeling about how we can stack up. But Stu, it's about developing kids. Some people recruit kids in and they just want them to be ready-made. And everybody is the same. We're going to coach them the same, and we're trying to develop them. And just if you would have watched the quarterbacks in the spring, we had 5 of them out there. And I told him when we started spring football that my goal is when we get to the spring game, I can plug any of you in there and you're going to be able to run this thing like the starter. And nobody in the stand's going to be able to tell that you're not the starter. They won't know where you are on the depth chart. And after we got done with the spring game, we felt like that was the case. We held them, accountable that if you're going to go in, if you're going to be on the team, you got to get better. You got to execute this stuff. You need to learn it. And our coaching staff is full of teachers. You're called coach, but we're teachers, and we've got to be able to teach these kids what we want them to do and then help them with the motivation, but they've got to have some intrinsic motivation as well, and go do it. So it to go back to your original question, we do have depth because we hold everybody accountable. When you walk out on the field, you got to get it done. And they're having fun and they're seeing success that they are getting better, and we're a lot better right now, and we're a better football team than what we were at the end of spring ball right now. So So anyway, the depth is there. You would always like to have more, but we've got three quarterbacks coming back. One kid left the program, wanted to go home, and we have two freshmen. So we have three and two freshmen, and I feel like we got some nice depth there. Everybody wants to know about your quarterbacks, and Joe Capra is a Denver kid, went to Denver South and started a couple games last year. He's really come on. This morning he did some stuff that if you would have been at our practice, you'd be like, holy cow, that's awesome. And and then Jake Sipes, a senior, great leader behind him, and Austin Gonzalez is an upperclassman that had transferred in from Southern Miss. And so we got some guys there, and Flynn Shealy is one of the best receivers in the country. We have depth at receiver. We have a bunch of receivers, but we're building depth. We're finding out which kids mentally, have it and physically are tough enough to do the things we want them to do. Because a lot of receivers, they want to catch the ball. We block a lot with our guys. You've got to be able to block on the perimeter, but also catch the ball. So I'm not that crazy guy that's just going to throw it 50 times a game like the first time. We're going to run the ball. We have a great offensive line. We're really good. Tim Brandon, Greg Brandon's son's my offensive line coach, has done a fantastic job with these kids. We are going to be able to run the ball. RPO at the run pass option stuff, just flick it out to the perimeter, but we can take the top off of it with some of our receivers. Nick Stone can run, Axel Richards can run, Flynn can run. They're going to have some really good corners to keep them from running right past them. So, yeah, you're right, Stu. We do have some depth. We have some talent, and we're building more confidence and more depth every day that we're out there because we're giving a lot of guys reps and we're coaching them up, and they're having some success.
Hey, Bob, I've got a quick question for you. I'm really impressed that you've got this rapport going with all the players on the team, but I would think that that can also add advantage because these are really smart kids and they can see things on the field that you maybe can't see from the sidelines. So they be coming back and giving you ideas that, hey, we could try this or this might work, or they're doing this and we could take advantage of it.
That's a good question because, and a great comment about our kids, because the first time we were around, our offensive line, we may get a look that we didn't practice. We hadn't seen it on film, and we were waiting for our guys to get off the field to talk to them to make the adjustment, and they'd already done it. And that's what we're building with our kids right now is we don't want them to memorize their assignment that, oh, I just blocked this. No, they need to know the whole offense and the play and what every offensive lineman is doing. And we want them to be able to draw it up and they have that confidence. So yes, when we get things that maybe aren't exactly what we expected, they will make the adjustments and we'll be able to do it without even having to talk to them and it's like they are very smart guys and it's a blessing to be able to talk to these kids and the way that we interact and you can't buffalo these kids. It's like they'll see right through you and it's great. It's more like coaching your peer rather than some 19-20-year-old kid. They're very very mature and they get it and they're overachievers. They've always been overachievers, their entire life. That's what a minds person is somebody that wants to be the best at everything that they do, so they want to be coached up. And minds kids want to know why. If I tell you to run a post, they don't want to just run a post. They want to know why they're running the post this way, to take this guy out of it so we can bring another guy into that area and throw it to them. So yeah, that's a huge advantage of being at a place like this because there's not going to be another team that we play that's smarter than us.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, James,
Perry
what's
here.
up? Last time I saw James, he was in Missoula, Montana with me at the Mo Club.
Yeah. Hey, as a former player of yours, what what activities are you bringing back to the program? Morning running, 300. What are some of the or are those all out of date and you've got a weightlifting program and training program that is just, you know, far beyond what you used to have?
Well, James, I know you probably still have nightmares of the off season stuff and the 300s and all those kinds of things. We got a great strength program. I kind of came in and I didn't want to gut the house. You know, this program is built and it's strong, and I wanted to kind of see how things went for a while, and I'm tweaking things as I go. And I was hired so late, I really wasn't part of a lot of the off season because we were already getting ready to go into spring football, and so I was part of 3 or 4 of the morning runs before it was over. And we got into spring ball. So we'll take a look at that, and we may bring a little bit of back, with that morning running, and I think that built some grit amongst the team, and it's some togetherness because they were able to suffer together. It's kind of like at Minds Academics. You can make it, and it's a good thing because you all suffer together, going to the same classes. But what I also found, James, is that as much as I thought that it had changed, a lot of the stuff that we had done all those years got carried over, and Coach Brandon was kind of the same way as me. He took over a 10-1 team and didn't want to change a lot, and so a lot of our traditions, like the goalpost that we used to do, the players only meeting, they're still doing that. There's a ton of stuff that they carried over and kept, and so it was kind of neat to see because a lot of the people thought that, oh, this has just been the last 10 years. No, we've been doing this for 25 years. And so the program's a lot more like, you know, alike when I was there the first time than people realize. So it's kind of, it feels good in my heart that they kept it going, and all the kids got to experience those traditions that we started when you were playing, and there's some really good stuff that Coach Brandon and the other two head coaches had done that I'm keeping, that I like, and so it's the best of all worlds now.
Great. Well, fortunately, you don't have to have your players hide under the stadium seats during a lightning storm like we used to have to. You got a nice
Now they get
nice
to go
locker.
into that nice locker room and watch some TV and play some video games and sit on couches. That locker room is fantastic, and I can't thank the people that helped us with that and the funding to get that. It just makes me feel so good that we can, you know give our players a day-to-day experience that's Division One. It's first class. It's as good as the stuff that we had at Montana and at Texas State, and I'm so proud of being able to put our kids in that, and just their lives are better because of the alumni that helped us build that.
So,
Thanks.
Coach,
Good luck.
what is the day-to-day experience for today's, this team? Do they have a practice in the morning and a practice at night? And is there a team meeting? And do they have meals? Like, what is a day in the life of an ore digger right now as you're getting ready to do your first game?
Yeah, and right now we're up early, and kids are up with breakfast and treatments in the training room getting taped, and they're in here at 6 a.m. and then we got a special teams meeting at 7. I got the quarterbacks and all the position meetings at 7:15, and then we're starting with our warm up at 8:05, and then we get off the field probably 10:45, something like that, with all of our stuff. But then our players every other day they lift right after practice. So there's a group lifting every single day. We just split it up, and then the kids go to lunch, and then we come back and we're grading the film. So as soon as we get off, it takes us a couple hours to grade the film. We give them grades every single day. I think it's the accountability that someone needs. And, a lot of kids will come in and say, I'd like to get more reps. Why aren't I playing more? And then on paper, you can show them that they're not grading out as high as other people that are getting the more reps. And if you want more reps, then execute a little bit better. So then we come back and we have position meetings at 2:15, and then we got a special teams walkthrough. We'll go walk through out on the field. Then we go have another offense and defensive walkthrough. We go against an odd front against our defense, but we're going to probably see a 4-2-5 the first week, an even front. So we're practicing against odd, but then we walk through the even front, so we're ready to go once we get into the season with teams that play it differently. Because you got to have a different game plan, for that. And then we come back and the staff meets and we meet with the trainers and the strength and conditioning people, and then we get ready to go. Our kids are eating, and we have food brought in for the staff. We don't have time to go anywhere. We don't have time to walk up to the cafeteria. We just sit down. We have food brought in, and we're gonna meet as a staff. And then at 7 o'clock at night, we'll have a team meeting. And right now, we're having each class of kids. We call it the 4-H's, and they talk about their hero in their life, their history in their life, a highlight, and so it's a really cool thing, and kids are talking about how special their older brother is, or their grandparent, or their parents, and we talk about heartbreak. That's another one of the H's. And so kids get to hear what other kids have went through in their life, and what it was a big highlight for them. Why is their dad their hero? And man, it's pretty powerful. So we're doing that right now at night, and tonight our redshirt freshman defensive guys are going to do it, and Jan Boone, our special teams coach, is going to do it himself. All the coaches are doing it. I've already done it, and kids get to hear stuff about me that nobody, even the assistant coaches, don't know that I told them. So when we get done with the team meeting, we're letting our kids go, and that'll be around 7:45. We'll come back in, do another staff meeting, make sure everything's good. So we're getting home 8:30, and then we'll start it again at 6 a.m. So we're grinding. It's busy, but busy is good. I
Wow.
laid on the couch for 3 years talking to my
Woo,
dog, and I am really happy to be
awesome.
back working.
Mhm.
Hey, Coach Stitt, Bill's this year.
Yeah, Bill, how are you?
Doing good. Hey, you mentioned something about, not necessarily having a 5-year plan. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you one big pass because I know some history that your first time around that I know you're planning. I was on the selection committee with Dan Lewis that Marv put together when you came in 25 years ago. I've always remembered that. But what I remember about that time, you came in understanding our student athletes, given that you're at Harvard and such. You laid out a 5-year plan and more, and then you went out and did it. I've never seen anybody deliver on their plan like that. And so I've always remembered that. So I know you got a plan and you're gonna go execute it. It's good to have you back. From a leadership standpoint, just let you know, we've been working with Greg and BMO and others on some leadership, and we can tap into some of the leadership around this university. If you're interested in that, let us know. And I guess that's part of the biggest question I have for you is, what can we as alum and football alum do for you?
Well, number one is just support the kids, and that was the biggest thing that because of our alums, because of the quarterback club and some parents, we're making our kids their experience way, way better. And that's a big reason why there's been success and there's been development, but the whole thing with the alums is just keep supporting us, and we just got to keep moving this thing forward. And I we've had so much success. I think it's human nature sometimes, you get to the top of the hill and you think you made it and you start going back down. And I don't think that we should ever just relax. Mines is a special place. The school, the institution hasn't stopped trying to get better. This campus, if somebody that hasn't been on this campus for 25 years walked across it, they'd be like, they don't even know, it's not the same place. It's not even close. You walk on a campus that has construction cranes, good things are going, things are being built, and everything moving forward. I would ask the alumni to continue to think big, and looking forward to where do we need to go with this football program over the next 10 or 15 years. And a lot of people thought I was crazy. A lot of people didn't think, they didn't think I could do what we did. And it took us 5 years to be undefeated, top 5 in the country. Then the next thing is we hit a wall, because in order to be able to recruit, you needed to have a little bit more scholarship money, and you needed to have better facilities. So that was the next thing that we talked about. People thought I was crazy again, and that I wanted too much. And now, after this building was built, they wish it would have been bigger. They think and when, oh, your weight room, that's big enough that we're going to build, and we should have built double, and now we have to split our team and go to another weight room. So just thinking big. And all you alums that went here, you're all successful. You've all built businesses, and you've got great families. Just you're overachievers, and that's what we are as football coaches. We just want to keep getting better and better, and not flatline ever again. And so that's just thinking big, coming and supporting us, talking, ideas that you guys have for us. And I'm always thinking, my wheels are always turning of what's the next step. How do we make this thing big time? How can this be a national championship caliber football program that we can be proud of, that there's not a better place in the country, in our division, that can even compete with us. So that's a great question, but man, let's keep this thing going this way. And we can't relax. As soon as you relax, you start going back down.
Good to have you back. Best of luck.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Okay, we've got about 10 minutes till we wrap up. Does anybody have one more question or comment before we start winding down?
Apologies, but it's me again. Hey, Coach, how involved are you in the defense? I know that we've had offensive coaches here for most part. We've had a defensive coach here, and the discussion has always been on the opposite side of where their expertise is. How involved are you in the defense?
What I try to do with the defense is support them. The defensive players know I care about that side of the ball. I'm not just staying on the offensive side. I spend as much time with those guys when there's a break where I don't have to be with the offense. I'm over with the defense. When we're stretching, I'm with the defense. I want them to know that I care about that side of the ball. And it's easy when you're young and you're a offensive coordinator, and you're calling the plays, that you get all wrapped up into your side. That's another reason why I think I'm a better coach, because it's not the offense versus the defense. It's I'm the head coach. I don't want to be the offensive coordinator. I'm going to help. I'm coaching offense. I'm going to help with that because I think I can bring some value to that side of the ball. But I want those kids to know that I'm their head coach, regardless of what side of the ball they're on. And that's why I met with all those upperclassmen so fast. And if you talk to the defensive kids now, that they would tell you that we have a head coach. We don't have an offensive coordinator that has that the title of head coach. And I care about the whole thing. If you're never going to be a great football program and a championship football program consistently if you're not playing great defense. And so uh, we have a very, very good defense. We have a very good defensive coordinator in Trip Thomas and his assistant coaches, and I support them. I let them go. When I was an offensive coordinator working for other head coaches, I wanted them to let me be creative and do my thing, and that's the way I'm treating those guys. But we meet every day, and I talk to them, but I'm not going to tell them what to do. They need to stop the run and we need to be able to run the ball. If we can do that, we're going to be okay. And I just my biggest piece of my ask from the defensive coordinator and the defense is just get a safety and then shut them out. So that's all we need, and we'll just take a knee and I'm joking about that, but we're successful at this program because of defense. That's what's turned this thing around to a high level to play in national championships because we are playing great defense. We're scoring a lot. We've scored a lot of points over the last 10 years, but it's the defense that makes the difference. And so that's why for the first time in my career that we're able to really focus on the run on the offensive side, shorten the game for the defense and not turn it over. And that's a recipe for success in the end. So uh, I I love the whole team. I love everything about it. I'm interested in everything, and they know that I'm interested in those guys on that side of the ball.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Can
Coach,
this is kind of a specific question, and unfortunately, I can't remember the kid's number. A running back, he was really coming into his own at the end of the year, and I understand from up my direction, I think up here at Legacy High School, and blew out a knee or something at the end of the year.
Braylon Tate.
Thank you, Braylon
Yeah.
Tate.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a heck of a player. He's practicing with us now, and he's good, really good.
Yeah, he was really coming on last year, and I was hoping the injury wasn't such that it would take care of his last
Yeah,
year or two.
he's 100%, and Landon Walker is our starter. That big kid, he's about 225. I would not want to tackle him.
No,
And then Braylon is kind of a little bit different, a little shiftier, still powerful, but a little more shiftier. And then we have a couple running backs younger that they're a little quicker. So we got a decent running back room.
well, I'm just glad to hear that about Braylon because
He's
he had,
back.
he had really come on. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Coach, maybe this is an unfair question because of when you came on the program, but what would you say is a way to sell mines to a prospective transfer?
We're having a chance to get some transfers, but it's more kids that are older, like Ivy League kids, because in the Ivies that you get your 4 years and you graduate and you have to go, and they'll still have some eligibility, and so we've gotten a few kids from there. Um, it's hard to get transfers from normal schools because of the academics. You were looking for a certain kid, and so it takes a really a special kid to find them that can fit in academically and good enough to play for our football team. But selling it is there's not a better place in the country to get your degree, and Golden may be the best place in the country to live. And our football facilities in Division II, they stack up to FCS and even some Group of Five programs. And so you're going to get that day to day that is first class, and you're going to win a ton of football games. And most academic, people that are looking for an academic situation that's really high and elite, you're going to go get your butt whipped. There's not a lot of high academic schools that win, and so we're pretty darn unique. So the biggest thing is if the kid's a fit, this is the perfect place for them. And if you want to be an engineer, football programs around the country, they don't want engineers because you have to be in class too much, and you're late to meetings or miss meetings, or you're late to practice to have to leave early, or they don't want you because you're focusing too much on academics and not focusing on football. That's what we are. We have 140 engineers on our team. They're not missing practice or meetings because of school. It's worked around, and so they get to satisfy their dreams. Of being a great engineer and playing college football. There's not a better place in America to do that.
Well, on that note, my goodness, that kind of says it all, right? We're so excited that you have taken the time today, Coach. We're all looking forward to a great season. I think we'll wrap. We've got a few minutes here, but a few quick announcements for the good of the order before we say goodbye. Coming up next month, September the 18th, we are excited to welcome Dr. Stephanie Tompkins. Let me turn my camera on so you can see who's talking. Hi, everybody. September 18th, Stephanie Tompkins, who is also returning to Mines after a former stint not that long ago. So she is our new provost, which means she is the one who has all the answers to academics and programs and that whole landscape at Mines. What's new, what's going well, where are we headed? So you'll want to join us for that. Again, Thursday, September 18th, noon to 1. Y'all can go back to the same page where you registered for today's program. You'll see that description and her photo, and you can register. So we hope to see you. Oh, yes. Brad, thank you for the reminder. Do you want to turn your mic on and give everybody a plug? It's great.
Yes, the September 12th, which is the Friday before the Mines teams opens up a can on the Ichabods. On that Friday morning at Arrowhead, 7:30 tee time is the Mines Football Alumni Golf Tournament. If you haven't registered, email me or Ruth, and we'll send you a place to register if you don't have that link already. But hopefully things are filling up. I think we only have about 15 slots left. So sign up if you're going to sign up, and love to see you there.
Great. Thank you for that reminder. And yes, registrations are going very well. Limited space left. So you want to get on that if you're interested in playing. Okay, well, with that, holy smokes, students are showing up this Saturday, starting to move into the residence halls. Here we go. Fall semester underway. Ore Digger Camp is coming up. The M Climb is a week from tomorrow. Anyone local on the call, if you want to come out and grab a cup of coffee and a donut and, high five all the new students, it'd be great to see you. And with that, again, thanks to Coach Stitt. Can't wait to get out there and cheer on our amazing Ore Diggers. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you.